Hi everyone, it's KB with Convos with KB. And I am so excited to talk to Miss Ally, and she's going to talk to us about her app that she's created. So if you're a fan of women's sports, whether you're a female yourself or you're a male like my dad who has daughters that play sport, I think he actually likes the WNBA more than NBA. So if you're someone like that or you're just a fan of women's sports, this app is going to be exciting for you. So without further ado, Ally, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, hi. First, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Um, but I'm the founder and the creator of SIS. It's a community centered app built to represent, celebrate, and just connect people who love women's sports. And I love that you said that about your dad. Like, my brother's on it, my dad's on it, my boyfriend's on it. There's so many men who are just great allies and advocates. So, thank you.
Absolutely. How you got started with app with SIS. So how does it differ from any other app for sports? So can you share with people who may not know what SIS is?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll kind of start at the beginning. I grew up playing sports. I played softball through college. And after I graduated, I felt this weird pressure to lose that part of me. Like, I couldn't say
Hmm.
I was an athlete. I couldn't say that I was a softball player anymore. And I took some time and space away just to realize I still identify as an athlete. Maybe not the physical part. I haven't touched a softball in a long time, but just how it shaped me, the mindset, the community, the passion. So I started looking for spaces that reflect that. And they just didn't really exist. I went on to like Reddit and I searched women's
Mhm.
sports. And I'll let you guys do your own research, but there weren't great or safe spaces. So I knew that there was a gap, and that's really what CIS is.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about Reddit because I created a sub thread. I think I was talking about sports as well. And depending on what sports you talk about is very limited. Because Reddit, what I do like about it is like it keeps you kind of anonymous, but the bad thing about it, it keeps you anonymous. So you
Mhm.
can just say stuff that makes you feel unsafe on it as well. So, like you said, you all can go on there and look at your sub threads if you like. This is just my experience and Allie's experience talking about sports, but you all may have a different experience when it comes to sports or women's sports. So, definitely open to that. So, I want to talk about how your app is similar or different than maybe any other social media platforms outside of the sports stuff. How do people navigate through it? Like the user interface? What's so special about your app outside that it caters to women's sports?
Yeah, so there's a For You page, there's like an Explore page. You can search for different communities, find their descriptions, see what people are talking about. The other big piece of it that was really important to me is it's almost like an athlete database of just different women. You can filter based on sport, you can filter based on identity. And this is just an easy and accessible way of finding like your inspiration, your heroes. I didn't have a lot of that growing up. I knew maybe Serena Williams or Mia Hamm, Jenny Finch, because I played softball.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I wish I had more. And I believe that representation matters. I believe it matters more for the underrepresented. So I kind of wanted to create just an easy way to find these women and follow their journeys and keep showing up and keep supporting.
I love to hear that because growing up, like you said, like for me, I played sports, played softball for a year. I really wanted to keep playing softball, but I was already running track and travel ball and track go they at the same time. So mom said, "Look, you're going track route, right?" So I did that. I played basketball, also ran track as I mentioned, and also cheered. And a lot of people don't know that cheerleading is a sport. Let me tell you, like it's when you're a base and you're lifting girls that are not too much smaller than you, it's a sport, okay? It's a sport. So, to your point, it wasn't a lot of places that you could see a lot of women's sports. I wanted to be a broadcaster, which is why I'm doing this now. Even that, there were not a lot of women that you could look up to see or even to connect with outside of like your own little space that you have. So, I think what you're doing is great. And I want to show people that I have the app. So I'm not just here interviewing her. Okay, guys, like I have this app. I'm on here. You can see like the threads here. Someone has their shirt on. Happy WNBA All Star. So I have it right here. Like I'm literally like looking at it. It's so cool. Somebody talked about the expansion of the WNBA teams. And also, as she said, I'm just showing you here. So it's just, you're not just hearing it from Ally, you're seeing it from me. So like ESPN has a whole like community, 46 members you can join. Joining it was easy. Is she literally has like a join button, and now you're part of that community. So I just wanted to show everybody that like I made sure that I downloaded and made sure that I was part of it before interviewing Ally. I wanted you to know, Ally, that I was really supporting it and I wasn't just saying, hey, let me interview you. Really, really cool. So I want to talk to you about how your app can be beneficial to those, maybe those ladies that are trying to get NIL deals. From some research that I've done, and for those that don't know, there is a tool on the NCAA app where you can check and see how much people are getting from NIL. Like there's a comparative tool. It's a really cool tool. And you'll see female athletes get about $12,000 a year in NIL monies. So I think a lot of people think that there's a lot of Angel Reese's and Caitlin Clarks out there, Livy Dunns. There are not a lot of those. When you talk about female athletes, most of them make very, very little NIL money. So that goes back to my question, Ally. How do you feel that your app can help bring representation, bringing those women to the spotlight that can help them with NIL deals, even if they're not on the Angel Reese's or Caitlin Clark level in college sports?
Yeah, I mean, I just really believe that a rising tide brings up all the ships, you know? So I would love for SIS to just be that space where I need to know what's going on with other people, where I can get support, what's going on. How do I know what I don't know? So if I could go on to SIS and ask a question, and there are these other athletes with their own stories and their own guidance to just give right back to you, it's just going to bring everyone up together.
Absolutely. And have you ever thought about, and maybe you have this in the thoughts, to partner with companies who would love to have a database with female athletes? Because you already have them right here in your app. Have any thoughts to partnerships or growth? And if so, what do those partnerships and growth look like for you in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super open to collaboration with anybody. We've gotten some interest, and I am always open to conversation. I love jumping on Zoom calls and chatting with just about anybody. Um, so, I don't know. I think it's limitless. I think that these sports media companies, I think there's a way to integrate that to, you can like follow them on SIS, and then when you're on your feed, you're seeing posts, but then you're also seeing these links straight to their websites. Companies. I would love to like collaborate on events and just like get involved in the community outside of being online, because I think that's just as exciting.
Absolutely. So, as someone that decided, hey, I felt disconnected from being a softball player in my identity, where do you think the future of women's sports is headed outside of the technology realm that you're in?
Oh gosh. I mean, I love that question, but I don't even know the answer to it. There's such a rise in investment and access. It's just I see it driving so much of, you know, different fan bases and different communities, bringing people together in a way that just hasn't, because, it hasn't been there like accessibly or easily.
Yeah, it's definitely a rise in that. And I was actually talking to someone who does bass fishing, and he and I were having a conversation because he thought about, okay, I want to train some people, I want to show people. And I said, have you thought about introducing bass fishing to women? And he said, well, is there a need for that? And I shared with him that women's sports is on a rise in pretty much every sport. So it's not just, of course, you see a lot of people investing money into women in golf. I see a lot of that. Of course, we see the rise in WNBA, and now they're in their CBA negotiations because they have some leverage. But then I sent him an article from Sports Illustrated that shows um, an organization that's investing in women learning bass fishing. It is growing so fast. And I think I even mentioned to you when we first talked via email, like I wanted to help him find a community of other women who were interested in bass fishing, because he says, well, where are they? And I'm like, well, you know what? Ally has this tool here. Maybe someone can create a subgroup for bass fishing and you can find those women there. So to your point, it's like rising in so many different areas that I think that people are trying to figure out, how do I jump on this? Which leads me to my next question. How do you feel about men who are now feeling like they can capitalize on the rise of women's sports. And maybe not always in an ally way, but in a way of saying, hey, I see this now as an advantage. What are your thoughts on that? And have you seen that shift?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I won't like name names or anything.
Of course
It's
not.
like it's like a double-edged sword though, because we want this and it does help us in the end grow our sport. So any sport. So like that's the good side of it. And then the bad side of it is yeah, they're not allies. They're not doing it for the good of women, but they're doing it for the good of their own wallet.
Right.
What I would say to that is there are so many women owned, women led or allied companies who are well intended and looking out for us. And I think that those are the people and the companies that we should return our viewership, our attention, our support towards.
Absolutely. And so, how does a female owned company like yourself, or even an athlete like yourself, how do you navigate the difference between those male dominated fields or industries that are looking for, like you said, maybe to fatten their purse, for example, or are like the men in your life and my dad who are truly allies? How can we navigate that? And you're a former athlete, you also have a tech company that maybe someone's interested in. How are you going to decipher and navigate through that yourself?
Yeah, I think fortunately and unfortunately, it is quite obvious pretty quickly who is or who is not on your side. Um, just trusting your intuition. Like I believe women are strong, smart, powerful. So just relying on that and using your good judgment. Like it, as long as you're good intended, I'm good intended. Like we're gonna succeed, and I believe that fully.
Absolutely. We do have some strong intuition, I would say. We women definitely like we have those spidey senses.
Mhm.
Just make sure we're always having those spidey senses up as well. So I want to talk about you and your softball career. As you see, there are a number of more professional women's softball leagues popping up. And it's very exciting to see. As a matter of fact, here in Atlanta, we have a semi pro team as well that we just got here, that moved here. Any opportunities, any chance that we may see Allie out there playing for a professional, whether it's semi-pro or professional team, getting those cleats back on?
Yeah, I
Any?
think that ship has sailed.
Oh,
But I'm having so much fun being on this side of it. I still feel a part of the game in a sense. Um, but yeah.
and where did you go to college for softball? You talked about going and playing collegiately in softball.
Yeah, I played at Eckerd College. It's in St. Petersburg. It's a smaller D2.
Okay, great, great. Now that actually made my spidey sense go up. And when you were in college, maybe the opportunity for NIL wasn't there as much as it is now as a D2 athlete. If you can go back in time and NIL was available, how do you think you would have navigated getting NIL monies even as a D2 athlete?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the partnerships weren't so obvious for Division 2, but just you as yourself being a business and being able to make money, like that is also part of the NIL. So, creating pitching courses and online academies and like creating money for yourself, you have the experience, you have the resume, just trusting in yourself, putting yourself out there. That's how you can make money aside from just like being a Nike athlete or, anything like that.
Well, I think that there's probably some D2, D3 athletes who will probably listen to this and say, hey, how can I do this? I had an interview with someone who helped students navigate NIL opportunities, even if they're not, like you said, the Nike athletes or bigger athletes. But I think it's more powerful hearing it from an athlete like yourself, hearing it from someone who maybe that, like you said, ship have sailed for you in college, but to say, hey, here's how I would have done it had I had the opportunity. Because again, hearing it from someone who's going to represent you is a little different than hearing it from someone who could have done that, because you all at D2 may not get representation. Maybe they feel like, you know what, it's not worth it, if you will. But like you said, finding those partnerships or even pitching courses. So I'm assuming you were pitching, showing that kind of stuff can definitely help those athletes as well. And so I kind of want to circle back to the app. The name SIS, of course. So I call people sis all the time. Hey sis, hi sis, whatever sis. But I don't know if that's the meaning of the name. So, how did you come up with the name, sis?
Yeah, so that's definitely like the part of it that I do love because I'm the same way. But it does stand for sisterhood in sports. I just feel like that was the most encompassing of what this app is and what I believe in. Sports have brought me all of my closest people. They're like truly my sisters. And, there's this trend going on. It's like, this is girlhood, this is sisterhood.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just perfect.
And literally, the acronym is actually SIS. So that's what makes it so like fitting, right? It's like sisters and sports, but it really is like, hey, sis. So I think it's like really cool. So the last question I want to ask, and we kind of tapped on it earlier, is where do you see your app in 5 years? And we know technology changes every day, but in your dream world, Ally, what would this app look like?
Yeah, I think just it being the go to space. I'm in high school and I want to take it to the next level, but I don't know what to do. Maybe I live in an area where softball's not big. If I could just go onto SIS and be like, what do I need to do to take it to the next level? And you get these answers. Or you're a coach and you need perspective on helping coach a group of 20 girls. Like, that's not easy. Just being able to have that support and it be the easy place to go without fear of judgment, fear of you know, hate. I think that's like my dream. How I feel about this project, even right now, it's not where I necessarily want it to be yet. I think it's getting there, but it can't fail in my eyes. Not because, again, it's huge right now, but because it's already doing what it's supposed to. Me and you just connecting for this interview, making people feel seen, connecting people, bringing them together, like that's a win in my book. It's doing exactly what I hope it will do.
Absolutely. And it's more to come. And if you're not an athlete, how could you benefit from this app, even if you're, like you said, your boyfriend? Obviously, he's not a woman, my dad. I don't play anymore, you don't. But what are some other benefits for non-athletes who maybe they haven't played a sport at all? How could they benefit?
Yeah, I mean, there are groups for like health and wellness. Are you into yoga? Are you into just moving your body, daily walks, getting your steps in? Just looking for that support system. It's there. Um, you just, and also, we're so early, and I keep saying this like, message me, let me know what you think, let me know what you think's missing. It's constantly evolving. And I just want everyone to feel a part of it because they are.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, she is accessible. She's easy to work with. I sent her a message and here we are. So do not think that you can't just send her a message and have conversation with her because she's easygoing, open. And it was just a delight just to talk to you today, Allie. So thank you for that as well. Now I
Yeah.
want to ask you a really cool, fun question. So if you were not playing softball, what other sport would you have played and why?
Ooh. So I'm not leaning on my physical ability at all, but if I could, I love track and field. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, I
Yeah.
of course found my way to say her name in this interview. um, she's just electric to watch, and I think it'd be just a great sport to be a part of.
Let me tell you, track and field is my favorite sport. It really, really is. I enjoy it. I've covered it. I remember about 5, 6 years ago, like I was getting myself back in shape, not for any particular reason, just like I wanted to be like fit again. And I thought, now hear me out now. I thought I'm going to do the master's level of track and field, right? I was so much missing it now at 41, maybe not so much, but I love track and field too. It is definitely a sport that gets overlooked a lot. There's not a lot of space for that that we see, and I would love to see that your app could help a lot of these female athletes in track and field who they don't get a lot of attention. You don't see track. A lot of people think track is only every 4 years, but like no, these athletes are running all the time. So hopefully your app will be able to connect some of them as well. So
Yeah, I'm also excited about that new Atlas League. I don't
yes.
know if you saw that team based track and field.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about that.
That's started by a group of athletes as well, by the way, for
Yep.
those who do not know that there's so much power in your own voice when you're an athlete, when you can make it happen. So very excited about that. Now, Ali, I want people to know where can they find your app, where can they find you? Just go and give a shout out and drop to yourself to find the app and to find you.
Yep. Find us on the App Store, SIS. You can even do dash Sisterhood and Sports and it'll pop right up. You can find us on Instagram, sis underscore app underscore. And I promise I'll get back to you very quickly. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Allie. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in with Combos with KB. We'll see you again soon.